Yo, it's your boy Scope. Welcome to the No Vacancy Podcast. I'm here with K Styles.
What's up?
My boy MVP.
NV Payton.
And last but not least, the big homie Live.
What's good?
Yo.
Yeah. So this is our first podcast under the We and Now umbrella. No Vacancy. Stepping into the new year, 2021, we decided to do a quick wrap up of 2020 because it's in the rearview mirror and we're never going back here again. So we just started to purge all this information, opinions, and straight facts with our audience. And we just want some feedback. So if you agree with anything we said today, comment below. Or if you disagree with anything we said today, find another podcast because we don't give a damn.
Whoa.
Facts. I agree with that. I agree with Scope totally on that one.
I feel Go ahead.
Notice I didn't drop the F-bomb.
I just want to say, coming out the gate, we don't want to isolate our people. You know, I am here for a good debate at any time. Anyone who knows me will argue to death. So please hit me in the comments. I'm intrigued.
I don't want to isolate some people, but I do want to identify our people. See what I did there? I flipped that.
All right, man.
Way. So today we're going to have MVP just take us down the list real quick. And he's going to let us know where we're starting and go.
Oh, yeah. All right. So it's MVP. NV Payton. And today we're going to start off with wildfires. So there was a couple of them. So there was West Coast wildfires and fucking, are we doing F-bombs? Fuck it.
Go ahead.
We're going to have to edit this out.
Do a little beat. Australian bushfires. So, yeah. So my question to y'all is, when this news broke, like, did you have any family in the area, especially like on West Coast, or like, what was the feelings that was going through your mind and your heart? Let's start off with K Styles.
Yeah, put me on the spot. In hindsight, it was a perfect viewpoint of what 2020 was, where everything was just completely on fire in one way or the other. But at the time, I don't think we had really started. I mean, I have to double check. I don't think the pandemic was in full swing yet. So it was just like a lot of stuff was developing in the air. Like, what is happening? This just seems wild. This is wild. So. I personally don't, have many people that I'm close to, like on the West Coast, to like say, okay, well, I was worried, but anybody I did know reached out and it was like, yeah, I'm good, But I feel like they're somewhat used to fires over there, just not at this magnitude. So that's my thoughts.
What's crazy? And I know we don't really like do facts or whatever, but since I have them, I'm gonna throw it out there. So the Australian bushfire started in like 2019 and moved on into the beginning of 2020. That's why I thought like we should start off with it. But it was a record of 47 million acres.
That's a lot of acres.
And thousands of people.
Shit crazy.
That's a lot of acres.
That's wild. So did y'all see and this is going to the West Coast joint, but did y'all see that viral video where it was like people were driving, I guess, on the highway, and you can literally see all the woods and everything just like look like some volcano type shit.
Yeah. It looked like a movie.
Definitely. Well, the thing with the wildfires is a lot of those houses are in places they're not supposed to be at. That's the first thing. Second thing, people are very irresponsible. And, Smokey the Bear been out here for so many years telling us that only you can prevent forest fires and pour water on your campfire when you leave. But no, people still want to do it. And the second thing, I believe when those wildfires in California was started by a gender reveal party, which I find absolutely ridiculous and sexist, because when everyone has a daughter, all of a sudden the vibe goes down in the room a little bit. Son, vibe goes up. Daughter, vibe goes down. We watched 10 videos.
That's a real thing?
I want to say these views did not represent.
Yeah, man.
No,
he on his own with that.
I don't think that's the case.
Challenge any of you guys, watch 10 gender reveal parties and watch the vibe when a boy up goes girl down. You would swear these things are being taking place in China, but it's not.
Oh my God.
Also, I think gender reveals is like a hood thing. What is that? Okay, I digress. I want to get
gender reveals is not a hood thing
at all.
I feel like
I've seen some people come up with creative ways to gender reveal something.
Okay, for some reason, in Black community, we celebrate what do you call it? Gender reveals and what's the first one when you're pregnant? Baby showers.
Baby showers.
Well, lastly, before we let Live jump in, we don't really need much to have a party. You know what I'm saying? Like, we really don't need much. It's like, oh, it's Tuesday. You know, we got paid Friday. We got some money left over. Hi, let's get up.
Facts.
So, you know,
Facts.
we celebrate. Anyway, Live, I feel like you're about to say something.
No, I was just perplexed to what Nick said about gender reveals. You said we don't need to. No. You said something about we don't need to. Never mind. I digressed. I can't remember exactly what you said. It was something to the effect of gender reveal something, and I was just thinking to myself, like, what else can we gender reveal other than people having children? So, anyway, long story short, about the fires though.
Oh shit!
I did that with my mind.
Give me a second, fellas.
I don't like you misquoting me, so I turned your lights off.
No lie. That could not have been timed any better.
He's actually robbing that place. He just got to do his podcast by any means.
It's a fact. It's a big fact.
Break into somebody's house and do a podcast.
So about the fires before I was interrupted. I don't know, man. I just think it's crazy. I don't think people are putting their houses in the wrong places. I just feel like, and we can't blame people for something some of these things are natural occurrences. Like, that's why they brush fires. Most of the time it's just dry foliage that, gets blown into other dry foliage and then these fires start. I just think that we're seeing more and more of an effect. And then you got all these people out here who say, like, I guess, that global warming doesn't exist, but I feel like we're seeing the effects of some of this shit happening in our lifetime. So those are my thoughts on that. Other than that, I don't know anybody that lives in California. My prayers to their family and people who lost their lives in those fires. I did not know about the Australian bushfires though. That was interesting to hear. But yeah, this shit is crazy. The shit that we see online, I just couldn't even imagine dealing with, man. Because what do you do in a fire? I mean, you can't pick up and move your whole house. You can't, you just let the shit burn and get out safely. It's a fucked up situation either way. So,
especially when it's like your whole area is on fire.
Yeah.
It's one thing if your house is on fire because they could treat it differently, or even an apartment. But like, imagine a fire is spreading from your neighborhood and it's coming to your house. It's like you can't.
What do you do?
You can't. What can you do?
If you're watching a fire come from across the street, like I said, it's not like you can pick up your house and say, I'm moving. You just fucked. Yeah.
What you can do is you can do it for the gram because your selfies are going to come out fire. No pun intended.
This nigga here.
With fire emojis?
What you seen the light in that joint is going to be lit. But with that being said,
this nigga said the lighting. What's wrong with this nigga?
Natural light.
That's crazy.
Hey, my question is, in a situation like this, do you save the PS5?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. I think before you hit the children's room, before you hit the safe, I think the first thing you do is grab that motherfucker PS5 because niggas know how hard it was to get that, yo. That shit ain't no joke, man. Because when you get to the PS5.
When you get to the hotel with your voucher for housing, you're going to have to hook up, man. Yeah, Johnny in Florida don't give a damn. He going to lose your space in the tournament fucking around because you don't think your PS5 offline. Man, you started, man. So
I got a sideline question, right? So say, God forbid any of us ever have to go through that situation or any of the viewers, but what are you grabbing, during a fire? Like, what is the first thing you're going to grab? Maybe the top 3 things you're going to look for during a fire.
I would like to go first.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm grabbing all my hard drives. I'm grabbing my computer, and I'm grabbing my cameras and my Ronin because those stuff is hard as hell to replace.
Is this nigga
a lot of grabbing?
What the hell?
Come on! It's like you do one of those little into the bag. You're not packing it nicely.
Kyle, are you a spy?
So at the risk of dying, you're going back to grab that Ronin.
Yeah.
The Ronin. This got some weight to it, my man.
Yeah.
Oh, first of all,
I don't blame him though.
You see me move that thing around. I'm not losing that. I mean, you gotta be like, for me, I've worked a long time to get my camera equipment to where it's at. come a long way. So I'm not giving that up. I mean, I don't see, the thing is I don't have like kids or anything like that. Clothes you can replace, but the Ronin is up there in the price, bro. I'm not losing that, bro, and I'm not doing it. So that's me.
Kyle's a computer hacker. This
I
nigga
am
say
not a computer hacker.
drives. Grab the drives.
You know how
Gotta get them hard drives, man.
Yeah, that's important, man, because you got certain people out here who's willing to spend $20,000 to get their hard drives back that was stolen.
Nice segue. Nice segue.
But that's later on. That's later on. That's later on.
Okay, my bad. I thought you were
gonna jump to ahead. We still in January. So, are y'all ready to move on to the next? Are we good
Move on
with the wildfires?
well, I feel like nobody else answered the question. So if you guys,
Okay,
Oh.
let's. Yeah, go off.
Go ahead, live. Oh,
No, I'm waiting on y'all. Y'all can answer the question.
yeah, I'm just grabbing my Beamer. That's it, bro. I'm out. Everything
Smart.
else, I'm out. I'm
I'm
sleeping.
definitely grabbing the keys to the Porsche. Other than that,
No,
just
my old school
children.
Beamer, not that kind of Beamer. It's an old Beamer.
Oh, no matter, man. I respect it. Yeah, shit. I respect
but
it.
here's the question: if you're leaving the house, isn't it assumed that you would be taking a car regardless?
No,
You don't
this
know how many people
No.
forget their keys, bro. Like,
Oh,
that's the first thing I'm securing, man. I'm securing the keys to the whip.
Wait,
Hold on. So
I would-
you guys don't have a bug out bag?
you talk
What
about
the hell is that?
like, no, I don't have a bug out bag because I'm not a prepper.
Carl, you know you got a bug. You look like a bug bag person.
I don't have a bug out bag. I have my
Yo,
camera.
define this bug out bag. What is a bug out bag?
So preppers, what they do is they assume that the world's always going to end. So you have a space where you're like, this, if you needed to get out the house right now, you grab that bag. It has, all your information, all the important stuff in it. It might have, extra.
Stop right there. Okay, don't sell it like that. Check this out, live.
Okay.
I need you-
Before he goes, I want to point out who knows more information about this, and so who would actually have a bug out bag. Go ahead, cuz. Drop it out. Drop your facts.
So say for instance, live, you walk up to your house and you notice one of your porch lights is off. That's me giving you a sign not to come in and be gone. You know what I'm saying? You got to get ghost. So in this bag, we're going to have about $500 cash, maybe $1,000 cash, some water, another ID, 2 changes of clothes. You feel what I'm saying? And like a couple debit cards just already in a spot. Like,
It's a prep bag just in case you got to get the fuck out of Dodge.
Correct.
Right now. You ain't got to go back to
That's
the
not a
crib.
bad idea. I mean, I don't know what you would be doing where you would have to immediately leave your fucking residence. Like, but if you into that shit, I respect it, bro. You know what
And
I'm
a
saying?
pistol hurt, and it's a burner phone. A burner phone.
I
and a-
respect it, yeah. Just don't forget the PS5. Those are facts.
Ain't gonna
That is a
fit.
fucking fact,
Put
yo.
that in the bug out bag.
First of all,
Sure.
do you have space? How big is this bug out bag if you got to put that big ass PS5 in it? That's
You'll be surprised.
This shit is a body bag. That's what it is for scope.
for real. It's like, you try to get out of there quickly, and you're just like, hold on, let me bring this whole bag with me. Like,
Yeah, that's
You can
a
put
fact.
MREs in there too. That's a whole nother flow.
all right, okay.
I'm not gonna cap. In that situation, like a fire or I had to get out the house, I wouldn't know what to grab, bro. Like, I'll be trying to grab every fucking thing I can because I don't want to lose shit. I know nobody wants to, but if you got like a limited amount of time and you got to grab something, like, I don't know, man. I'll be in panic mode, man. I'll be the one fucking last person in the house trying to grab shit. So
That's why they always say to leave stuff, because the fact that you spend time in there, trying to figure out what to take, it tends to delay the time you have to get
That's
out,
a
which
fact.
could be like a life or death kind of decision time. But
Nah, be the stupid motherfucker on the news, the only one that died because you had to go in and get that PS5.
yeah, man.
Leave the PS5 alone, bro. Leave it alone.
Anyway, next,
Yeah.
everybody go. I don't know if everybody.
Well, no, I
Yeah,
would just, for me, I would just treat it like I treat my regular life every day. I'd never leave home without my keys, wallet, or phone.
Yeah,
Like,
facts.
I never leave someone else's house. That's like, if the listeners, followers, and viewers never learn anything from me, learn this today. Don't leave without your phone or wallet or keys. Always, like, because I've had people, especially when the drinking start flowing, man, I left my wallet at a restaurant. I left my phone over my homie's house. Like, keys, wallet, phone. Check it.
Every time.
At yourself every time. And
Respect.
that's all I got for that.
In the strap.
That's right.
If you're about that life.
Walk around with it. Anyway, transitioning.
So after the wildfires, we're gonna go to the big one. of this year that I feel like, which is
Tiger King.
the
Sorry.
Tiger King, seriously.
no, we're skipping
Motherfucker.
ahead. We're skipping ahead. The pandemic
Ah,
that started around like February, March. Like, and this is a big deal. So who wants to go first, man? Because it hit. I feel like it hit everybody. Some type of fashion, it hit everybody.
I'm gonna go last on this one, so I'm just gonna put it.
I'm not too fan. You can go before me.
Damn, we're so.
I mean, I don't know what to say, man. I don't know where to start. We're still
right.
dealing with the shit. So,
All right. So for me,
Yeah.
let me give you an idea of what was going on in MVP's mind.
did he
Right?
just cut me off? Is that what just
You cut
happened?
you off, bro.
Oh, I thought
Okay.
you said.
Cut you off.
Oh, you were actually going?
No, it's cool. Go ahead. We listening.
Slow rolling.
Oh, okay.
Cold
so-
blooded.
My bad. I didn't know you actually.
I want you to play that music in the background during the edit, kind of like the little violin shit. Ding, ding, and just have my face there, like.
Well, my,
Go ahead.
cut off. Use the
Sad
same
face.
word.
Facts.
Cut off.
Cut me the hell off. Go ahead, man. Go ahead, Nick. I'm gonna give you 2 seconds into your conversation, and I'm gonna just start fucking talking. man.
You can turn my lights off too if you
Nah,
want.
go ahead. My bad.
But nah. So what I felt first of all was the place that I worked, that whole thing changed, right? I went from going into the office every day to having to work from home. I went from being able to see people whenever the hell I feel like it to not being able to see people at all, especially when it was at its peak level. Just the adjustment of having to live in a world where you got to wear gloves all the time. You got to wear a mask. As a black man, wearing a mask outside concerned me. You know, I got dreads. I wear black a lot. I fit the description, right? So these are a couple of things that was going on in my mind. Then I'm done. All right, go ahead, live.
No. I agree with you, man. Especially like wearing a mask all the time and wearing a mask outside. There's a certain stigma behind that, and we had to adjust to it. And I know white people had to adjust to it because I'm pulling up to my bank with my mask on. I'm pretty sure they feeling crazy right now. But and I mean, other than that, besides the personal effect it had on everybody and people, I haven't. Thankfully, I haven't lost anybody in my family. I did have a family member, like my cousin's cousin, passed away. So something of that nature, or her uncle, if I'm not mistaken, on her mother's side. But I don't, this shit is just crazy. We're still dealing with it. As we're filming this, we had some of the highest days of hospitalizations and deaths. So I would like to recap this when this is over with and we see like the outcome. Cause like, even with the vaccine coming out and people afraid to take the vaccine, I just watched something on another network, which I won't mention, but I just watched something and it was like one of the nurses who took the vaccine, who fainted. Everybody knows that nurse who fainted. They said that she passed away. I don't know how true this is, but
I didn't hear that.
yeah, I'm dead serious. Yeah. So I don't know if it's true or not, but we live in a day and age where niggas say something on the internet and people will run with it before you even fact check. But I agree with Nick as far as like everything that's changed us having to be at home. I think I've been at home since March now. Like, having to raise my kids myself and not like put them in school. This shit is different.
I don't even know why.
It's real shit though. I mean, I love my kids, but the story of this pandemic is me having to raise and be around my kids 24/7, 7 days a week, man. Like, and I'm pretty sure it's parents out there who, with me, I'm more involved in my kids' life, but you got parents out there who they just send their kids to school, they get home, they tell them to do their homework, and they take their ass to bed, and most of the time they don't really interact with them. So I could imagine with those first time, like really being around your children and really getting to figure out, you know what I'm saying? Like that shit is crazy for them, but I digress. That's pretty much what the pandemic is meant for me. Learning experience, you feel me?
Yeah.
Yeah. But a pandemic for me, it just really highlighted the misinformation and paranoid state that we're in as a country, because I think we fell behind the 8 ball from the beginning because people just didn't want to believe like simple facts. Like, we'd hear stuff like, it's not real. Who do you know with it? And, even our president to a certain extent was like, we got 9 people. It's going to be gone in a little bit. But as soon as the economists start throwing around that word pandemic, to me, it was like a dog whistle. I I seen the wave coming now. You know what I'm saying? And that was about 2 weeks before we really shut down. You know, that word pandemic is so powerful. You know, it unlocks different protocols in our government and the way we live our lives. You know what I'm saying? So the first time I saw toilet paper was on scarcity and the food, I went in the grocery store, I asked them for ground beef. The guy laughed at me like, bro, you got to get up early to get that. So just
Crazy.
the thought of rationing and, you know, the panic part of the pandemic, that's what's going to stick with me throughout the whole thing. And now we got the vaccine thing where, you know, part of me, I want to be positive because, you know, this is the route we need to take to get everybody back. I mean, skeptic of the government giving me drugs like that. So, but hopefully I'll just fall in line, or once we get to 70%, 75% supposed to be herd immunity. So hopefully that comes before my number comes up as far as getting a shot. But, you know, I have nothing negative to say about the vaccine because for some of us, it's the only way you're going to get back outside is to go through this little narrow door. So I'm going to leave it like that.
So my thoughts on it is that this has been an interesting time. Like outside of everything that's happened with, you know, like the amount of people that have died and the amount of people have been affected, it's been a very interesting time because I feel like a lot of things have happened that would not have happened before. The fact that people were at home and, you know, that whole, you know, the whole thing happened with George Floyd, all of that stuff, you know, brought to, you know, light a lot of different stuff in the pandemic, which we're going to talk about a little later in the podcast. I also think that there's a lot of, from a creative aspect, it was tough at the beginning because when you're essentially changing your whole routine and you're always at home, like MVP and Live said, it's hard. Like you used to be, especially I see myself more extroverted type person. I'm used to being out and about and da. So what?
Sorry. I feel like you're introvert.
You don't know me very well. Anyway, but you know, in general, I feel like there's a lot of things that have changed, but I'm watching a lot of positive things that have happened, you know, during this pandemic because people have had to shift. Like we were in a cycle of, you know, regularity, for lack of a better word. It's just like everything was the same. We would just follow this trend, and you're watching a lot of people decide to do their creative, you know, pursuits. It's like, you know, following their stuff that they were doing because one, you're stuck at home all the time, and you know you have to do it. If you have to, you know, the luck to not have to be forced out to go out and work. So. I think 2020 is going to go down as a crazy year, but definitely a very strong learning year and hopefully a pivotal year in society, you know, based on the stuff that we've seen. So.
True.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the whole, especially a lot of my friends, I feel like have kind of found themselves in what they want to do because like you're just at home, like you can't go nowhere. Which is kind of scary because I'm like, does it take a pandemic for people to really realize one that, like, for example, for me, I went to like the office that I was working at and I looked at all the shit that was been there for like all year. Like people's personal items were just sitting there all year. They didn't come back for it. They didn't come back into work to get it. So I was like, it makes me think about like materialistic things. Is it necessary? Like these are the kind of thoughts that the pandemic has like had me thinking about. And I feel like it has affected other people to the point where they're like, you know, saying I'm going to the bars and hanging out with my friends all the time. Is that really something I need to be doing? Or can I, you know, figure out a passion of mine or a hobby or like some type of business venture?
Well, MVP, death often brings up your own mortality whenever you're dealing with death in any kind of way. So like you said, a lot of stuff that you think is important. Is it really that important when you can catch a cold from having a drink or being out and about? So it depends on how close you to your family.
Yeah.
I think people were forced to look in the mirror a lot, right? And take a inventory of what's really going on in their life. When you're in the motion of doing something every day, you can't look at the broader picture. You feel me? So a lot of people have in this day and age now, taking the time because they don't have a job now, or you've been laid off. They've been taking the time to find themselves and find something they can do in the interim to make money and sometimes it's their passion. Sometimes, you know, people, they would hop online. I mean, we started this thing up, you know what I'm saying, during this, and it just gave people more time to really realize, look, I don't want to do the shit that I was doing anyway prior to this, you know what I'm saying? And now is the time to take advantage. I also think the strongest is going to survive in any situation. So if you're a person who lost money because of the pandemic, I don't know what's wrong with you, because the pandemic has been great to a lot of people financially in certain ways. If you knew how to, you know what I'm saying? If this didn't affect you like certain other people, you know what I mean?
Your position, you never position yourself for something like this unless.
I mean in the situation of like, you know, we got to think Black people always been through hardships and poverty. We always had issues. You know what I'm saying? A lot of introverts, this is nothing new to them. They've been at home before the damn pandemic. They was staying at home. But I mean, in the sense of like, we don't let adversity stop us from finding something that's going to continue to make money or continue to make progress in our life. We don't stop because of shit like this. Like, you know, when America gets hit with like, for instance, the Great Depression, we always been through the Great Depression. It ain't nothing new to us. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we don't go jump off a bridge and kill ourselves about it. We strap our boots up and we find something to keep progressing forward is what I mean.
So funny you say that analogy, because, you know, someone else just, I heard that somebody say that before. Mm-hmm. And the Black dude response was, well, they didn't even give us any bootstraps to pull ourselves up with.
In some cases.
We're very open to like really falling off. We're already on a low standard. We're a danger when stuff gets compounded. So even like with the pandemic, it affecting Black people more health-wise, right? And then ironically, what is the essential worker? You mean to tell me now the grocery store guy, the fast food people, these people are so important now? Well,
yeah, the same people we took for granted, the same people America takes for granted on a daily basis is the people
who fills a lot of those
we expect to be at work now.
Yeah. And we fill a lot of those jobs up. So, you know what I'm saying? It just highlights the disparity in America. Like, the same people y'all downtrodden is the same people that's essential all of a sudden to us keeping going. All this other shit frills.
I mean, for instance, all right, so like, you see how Tory Lanez took a situation and not the Meg Thee Stallion and the shooting shit, the legal shit you're going through.
Okay.
But you see how he took a situation where we all trapped at home and he started to do quarantine radio. I mean, I respect, and not to say there's not a lot of displaced families and a lot of people who are under the water right now, because I'm pretty sure there are. But I respect the gumption behind Black people, the innovativeness, the way to figure out how to do things, even in a fucking pandemic where, you know, we don't know if we got tomorrow and people around you feel me, don't have tomorrow. So that's one thing that I did see in the pandemic that is like a positive. Like, I just seen people pick up their shit and find a way to make shit happen regardless. You feel me?
Yeah. I think the most positive thing is the family units. People have been having to bond, like you said, have to bond a little bit more with you. Whoever's in your immediate home family, not just family abroad. And hopefully we come out.
My mom literally, like, my mother stays out here. She literally lives like 15 miles from me. It was a time we didn't see her for 3 months. You feel me? So it made you like take care of your circle, care about the people you're around. And then I stayed away from her for that reason, because we didn't want to, you know, pass that off. But I could imagine what people dealing with who really lost family members. And the shit is crazy. I did have a dude pass away in my immediate circle. He was 31 years old. And he passed away from, younger than me. And he passed away from COVID. So that shit was too close to home to even, you know what I mean, process the right way. But one of my associates, just somebody I knew for the past 7 years. So shit crazy, you know what I mean? I can imagine losing a family.
The weird thing too is the converts. The people got hit with it that weren't believers, and then they get hit. They A1 out there. Look, listen to me. They want to testify.
Hey, but do those people deserve it though? Like, I feel like if you're a dumbass that says, "Yo, I'm not wearing a mask, I'm being oppressed," and that, like, I'm a little bit more happy to see you get it than I should be. You know what I mean?
That's cold. That's cold.
Is that harsh?
It is harsh,
bro.
But it's realistic.
If I'm the motherfucker in the water, in the ocean, and everybody's like, "Yo, it's a shark out there. It's a shark out there." I'm like, man, come on, fuck is y'all talking about? I get bit. You motherfuckers should be happy, man. You should be rejoicing that the motherfucker that didn't get out the water got bit.
Now we have to. Now we got to call you lie instead of live because you lost a leg and now you're like less of a person.
That's right. That's
you
right.
want to do that?
Left live.
But no, on a serious note, though, I think I can't necessarily blame the it's against my my viewpoints or you're infringing on my rights because
Come on.
wait, let me finish. There was a active campaign of misinformation when it came to COVID, how we dealt with it, and it was done intentionally. So, and it was very politically motivated.
Yeah, but I mean, as a human being, you see people are dying almost every single day. What?
Do you?
I just don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, this is what they're reporting. I guess if you disenfranchise the virus, if you disenfranchise the news, if you disenfranchise the health organizations out here, then yeah, I can see you believing that shit. But I mean, you have to go through all of those courses of disenfranchise all of those fucking things just to come up with that conclusion. I wouldn't be able to do it. I'm sorry.
But those things have and this is an interesting segue into I guess the very short political section that we're going to have, but there was an active attempt to disenfranchise some of these things from the beginning of President Trump's campaign. He literally started off by saying, "Oh, everything is fake news," right? So by the time the pandemic came up, and they're saying on the news every day that XY people are dying. Even at the beginning when I first heard it, I didn't believe as much as it being as serious as it was. I mean, I still was conscious. I'm kind of a germaphobe when it comes to shit in general. So I'm already like trying to, if you're sick, I'm like, all right, cool, bro. I'm gonna see you later. But this was different. This was completely different. And the stories were different. They were like, young people can't get it. So young people were going out and partying. That was specifically said at the beginning. And now looking back at it, there was this guy, I'm forgetting his name, I'm drawing a blank on his name, that was saying that, well, we want the kids to essentially get it so that they, get to herd immunity fast.
Herd immunity. So it's almost like, that's what they're saying in the news now. They intentionally told people not to wear masks, told people not to do certain things, or told people to go out and live their normal life so they could catch it, because that's a way to get herd immunity.
New York,
so that's one of the news pieces of news that's out now.
But with that being said, that means that there was intentional attempts at making it seem like it was not big of a deal. And
if that is the case, right, Kyle, can we then sue the government or the people who lost family members in this, get some type of reparations from the government, the people who did listen to the Trump campaign or these a lot of these Republicans who are out here campaigning not to wear masks? If we find out the plan was to get herd immunity, and that killed off a lot of the people who had it, what do we have as a recourse to that action?
That's a big question. That's a legal response. I
mean, Sweden did the herd immunity. I mean, I hate to be a Rocky quote, but if they die, they die. That's the kind of flow that they had in Sweden with the herd. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't do this whole lockdown thing in Sweden. But America, we're free. So when the president lets the governors decide, some of these governors and mayors have gone power mad, and they're doing their own playbook to a lot of situation going on. I just came from Florida, from Miami. Everybody was masked up. It was not even a problem. People were masked in the streets. They're walking on the sidewalk with masks. So I understand the news, like I said, so disenfranchised, because I'm in Texas and I can't tell you what's going on in Louisiana. I can't tell you what's going on in New York. It's like the news became so localized now that
I don't know. I disagree with that though, because I feel like because everything was so politically charged. And yes, at the time that you went there, because I had gone a couple weeks before you, it was different. And I think that I think that it came down to the fact that a lot of people were choosing their decisions based on what political affiliations they had.
Which is crazy.
It's crazy in a pandemic.
Fucking ridiculous. Yeah.
In a pandemic, COVID don't care if you're Republican, you're a freaking Buddhist. It doesn't matter.
Would you say they misrep? So would you say your perception going to Florida is it's about to be a shit show? Because nationwide, people think Florida is handling a pandemic terribly.
you have to.
Well, I just want to say
remember-
something. You were in Miami.
Correct.
Yeah.
I was about to
And
say
if
that.
you anything really North Florida, Central Florida is Trump country. It's like, it's redneck town. And most of the time those people, they like, a lot of them aren't wearing masks. A lot of them are like anti-government. You got a lot of militias out there, just like you do in Georgia. So those areas of Florida are more like, what we're speaking of. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's like comparing like, New York City to like New York State, or like certainly like going in Philly versus Philadelphia. It's like, or Pennsylvania, sorry. That's just Philly and Philadelphia, the same thing.
I'm about to say, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, but like it's like there's like the cities tend to be, different than when you get out further out, because it's bigger, it's more spread out. And without making a scope-like statement, a lot of the same people tend to live out in those areas.
Just say rednecks, bro. Don't be scared to say that.
No.
It's all right, bro.
I'm not.
Fucking rednecks.
Okay.
There are black people that fall in that category too.
Fucking black rednecks. You're not saying nothing different, bro.
All right, at least you're across the board. Anyway, that is it for the election thing. Other than Trump getting impeached and then moving along like nothing happened. I don't even know if we want to talk about that.
Well, I didn't get to say what I wanted to say.
Oh yeah, damn.
Let me jump in there.
You got to speak up.
My thing is, it's going to happen. So my thing is, I don't care. Like all that political stuff, get that out the window. I'm scared of the common sense that human beings have. Like, if you're sick and you cough, cover your mouth. Like, that's like basic level of humanity. Like, I don't care if Trump is telling you, dog, have common sense. And that's what scares me. Because it's like, you'll let media and all these other people tell you like, yeah, it's fake and all this other stuff, but yet you see the numbers continually climbing. And then they're like, oh, well, they're fluctuating the numbers and some of these deaths are not really deaths. I'm like, are you a fucking idiot? It doesn't matter if they fluctuated 1,000 numbers. It's across the world, my guy. It's not just localized. It's across the world. You have to be a fucking idiot if you believe everybody in the world is all against you and this is a conspiracy.
I got a rebuttal. I got a quick rebuttal, and then we'll let you go. The problem with America's freedoms, which I will never question because I don't want you to try to put me in anything because we're going to have a different conversation. But the problem with America's freedoms is that they have allowed people to live in their own echo chambers. And then you have stuff like Facebook that literally automatically assigns you a political affiliation based on a couple things that you liked, and then they push you in the area that they're showing you stuff that. So there's a lot of powers at play to make people feel that way. And for me, my experience dealing with this from a young age, because like I did a documentary about like immigration and stuff like that when I was coming up as a high school program, and you see these same type of rhetoric happening. So like this stuff, all this stuff that happened with Trump, people feel like, this is so crazy. This is the same thing that's been happening in politics for as long as I can remember. It's just that it's way, huh?
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, I would just say it's way more charged now because of how he ran his campaign, and I don't think it is any different of a strategy based on the two parties, in my personal opinion. So I can't go there and say, last thing I'm gonna say, I would not go out and say that these people are idiots. I don't think so. I think that these people are literally putting up, they don't do the one thing that I feel like I grew up learning how to do, which is critically analyzing a situation. Does this make sense? Do I have all the information and making my own decision?
Okay. I just want to piggyback off of what you were saying, VP. And Kyle, I'm disappointed in you that you don't think these people are idiots. They are fucking idiots, man. So I feel as though you got two sides, right? And it's two sides to the same coin. You got people who look at, the people on the right who don't want to wear masks, and we say, oh, you fucking idiots, man. You listening to the news. But if you look at the right and the people who aren't wearing masks, they're saying the same thing to us. They're like, oh, all you do is listen to the news and blah, 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 and you don't think for yourself. And they're telling you that COVID exists and it doesn't. So both sides are pretty much pointing the finger at the other side, saying that saying the same thing. But and the truth somewhere in the middle is the truth somewhere, right? So and my understanding of this whole thing is America has become so politicized and so polarized now that we got people, like Kyle said, we live in bubbles, right? And they really like Facebook and a lot of these big social media industries. They use a lot of this information to sell to other, corporations or other campaigns and a whole bunch of other shit, like a whole deep issue that we're only going to scratch the surface on here. But so we've come to a place where you can't get an agreement because you can't have that conversation with the other side. Both of y'all looking at like, hey, I don't fuck with that, what they got to say, and you saying this, and I don't fuck with that, and vice versa on the other side. But the biggest issue is hit that I believe is hit is when you cause confusion, you can start to put things in the mix that necessarily don't make sense, and people will, because they got so much going on, people will be like, okay, well, that kind of sounds like what I want to hear, so I'm going to go ahead and believe in it. You dig what I'm saying? If you confuse people enough, it's just easier to get shit bottom.
But then sorry, Scope, just to rebuttal, because he called me out directly. How can you then call these people idiots if you're saying that there's confusion in the mix and stuff is being added in the mix, like to even incite that even more, and they're making a decision based on what their value system is, whatever it is, right? How does that make them idiots?
Because
I'll tell you.
And my perspective, right? An idiot is someone who is in lacking of knowledge of certain thing. And if you're not exploring the knowledge to figure out if this is right or wrong, you're an idiot. To me, you're an idiot, because if they wanted to prove their point, if they wanted to say, yo, like, all right, I'll give you an example, this whole conspiracy about flat earth versus round earth, right? Every time they've done a test or any type of fucking evaluation of this to try to measure it, the flat earthers lose, right? And that's most of the time, most of the things that I've seen. I don't feel like these Trump people or the Trumpites or whatever you want to call it, the people on the right, have done any type of research to say that, hey, the COVID isn't real. Like, if that was the case, they would be out there proving it. Hey, this is not real. This is bullshit, blah, blah, blah. It's none of that. It's just, this is what I believe, and because I believe it, it must be true.
MVP? I have a response to that, but MVP had something. Go ahead.
Well, my thing is, and I guess maybe this is because you're not, like, these people are not black or something, but like, if I go into a grocery store and there in the sign says wear a mask, and I go in there and don't wear a mask and then get mad because you're telling me wear a mask, you're a fucking idiot. Yeah. It's a sign right here. Like, I couldn't do that on some regular shit. I would get shot if I just like, no, I'm not gonna do it. They like, he's being aggressive. Let's do something to him. I'm like, dog, you see the sign? Like, I don't care about politics, bro. You see the sign. It says wear a mask. End of discussion. And it's like, if you need help, if you need help making your decision, look at the world. It's one thing about America, like trying to get people to do what they want them to do, but we're talking about the world. China don't even like us. We don't like them. But you think all of them are just gonna be like, hey, let's fuck with everybody and create this thing that's not real. You would have to that people are actually dying from.
You would have to block out everything that's going on to believe what they believe. And hence is why I'm saying they're idiots. You have to be an idiot to just block out that much information and say, hey, this is not real. This is some fucking the same shit with Trump losing the election. Like, you're a fucking idiot. If you believe Trump really won the election, you're a fucking idiot.
We believe in aliens.
Don't talk about aliens. Don't start the aliens.
But we believe in aliens. We have no evidence. But we believe in aliens. But aliens.
Let's save that.
Killing people.
Let's save that for another conversation.
Okay. All right, I digress.
I digress. Oh, I got a rebuttal for that. We're not closing this out. But go ahead, Scott.
Before we close it down, because we're going to go on this COVID shit all night.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
One of the biggest losses America took during this COVID is the credibility of the CDC. They totally dropped the ball on a lot of different subjects. The flip-flopping, the misinformation, which, you have to leave it open to not interpretation, but people are coming to you for the facts. And that's why Dr. Fauci was so dope. And that's why a lot of people didn't like him, because sometimes he didn't know the answer, or sometimes the answer changed. Like when people say, "Oh, they told us not to wear masks." Well, they did some scientific studies and they found out, oh, now we do need to wear masks.
Well,
things change. This is science. And
but do you really blame the CDC? Because to my knowledge, it wasn't the CDC; it was the administration who forced the CDC to change shit around.
Was the World Health Organization first? They were, which is by China. China's like their main financier. Just how the UN, United States, was like the main person flipping the bill. Well, for the World Health Organization, China was the one flipping the bill. So they think they manipulated some information there. And then with the CDC, I don't know how independent they are from the government, but it really felt like some puppet type shit.
It was. Agreed.
And when you're a scientific place like that, and I guess nobody ever questioned them because everybody was scared of Ebola, and whatever they said, it was law. You know what I'm saying? But they lost a lot of credibility with the flip flop of the pandemic, in my opinion.
And yeah, my last point to this, just to wrap it all up, and there's two things. It's a two-parter. One, the fact that you could go and say it live that you're disappointed in me because of my opinion, it goes to this thing that black people are a monolith.
You held on to that shit.
Oh, I don't forget, baby.
That's why I can't
switch 3 subjects. My son was waiting on me. Like I
had that one in the chamber waiting, dog. So my thing is, everybody thinks that we should operate a specific way. And black people should operate a certain way, right? And then black people adopt that and say, we do this way, right? And then when we get mad when people, when Hillary's like, oh, I got hot sauce in my bag, it's like, yeah, but according to that, see, that's what we needed to do because we all believe the same thing. So that's one thing. I don't believe in that. I have a different viewpoint. My thing is with the idea is there's a lot of controlling powers at play. The fact that Black Lives Matter was a big thing that got people upset.
Big man,
bro, it shows you the control from a larger level. Everything is politicized. Everything is hyping to the point where it's not just about what it means. It's like, oh, these Black Lives Matter people, bro. We are literally showing you facts. And the problem is, if people are not open to it and you're not willing to have the uncomfortable conversation that's required, you're never going to break some of these people's bubbles. They have this idea of what it is, and that's it. And if they find that's why Trump was so successful. Trump spoke to what people felt like an unrepresented population of the society, and that's how he won.
Poor white people.
And that's how he won.
White people, all kind of white people say, not just white people. I'm sorry. I heard all kinds.
The silent majority was poor white people.
Right, and that's what they felt like they were losing their place in the world because here we go. We have this black president who was out here and he challenges a lot of the ideas of black people, right? And now well, look, they're trying to do all these things to change the way that. And then at the end of the day, if we go out and we say that these people are, I mean, I'm saying you can feel how you want, but for me, if we go out and say these people are idiots, it's the same way that they could say, well, we are a monolith and we only think one way.
It'd be easier if we were, but we're not.
Life would be easier, but it could be very dangerous. It would be very dangerous.
Out there doing us like that for so many years until people like, oh, Jesse Jackson don't speak for us
at all. At all.
Who voted for this guy? No one.
Who gave him the right to speak on my behalf?
Did he say Obama could suck his dick one time? His mic was hot.
Listen, I don't care what that dude said because he was out there taking selfies like a goddamn stripper, and ever since then, I was like, yo, you can't argue with, like, literally, I'll bring that up every time you say something. I'll mail a copy of it to your house.
Y'all leave the motherfucker alone, man.
No.
Go to the stripper.
Jesse was talking to Al Sharpton. His mic was hot, and he said something like, "Yo, I'm sucking my dick" or something like that. And they're like, "Bro, your mic is on." He's like, "Oh my bad."
Listen,
and that is an idiot.
I don't like Al Sharpton as much as other people don't, but the truth is that's the only person that's been there year after year, March after March, occasion after occasion. You have to give him some type of credit.
The real ones died.
Thank you.
That's fucked up, man.
No.
Jesus, Malcolm, Martin.
If you think about it, everybody who was really about what they were talking about died. They were killed.
I'm saying though, so y'all don't give the man credit for being there at all. Like at least we know we can count on him to get a march going, to bring the media out. At least we can count on him for that.
I'd rather Minister Farrakhan.
I'm actually, the only reason I feel like Farrakhan has been able to survive as long as he has is because of the community he has around him. Them boys don't play, bro. Them boys don't play.
At your door.
Yeah, right now they're listening like, what's going on? But anyway, transitioning because we could go.
Yeah, we could talk all day about
all day
what happened.
Well, I mean, transitioning to the Black Lives, because like that was a big thing that kind of comes off of the pandemic and people being able to, I guess, finally see. I think K Styles said something that was very interesting. He was like, saying us as people, we've been watching Channel 10 and seeing how people getting killed, and everybody's been on like Channel 7. And the pandemic made Channel 10 on all the channels. Yeah. So you're on Channel 7 seeing what we've been seeing on Channel 10. And I've had people.
That's a good analogy.
Why don't you agree?
Because Black Lives Matter was prevalent before the pandemic.
Exactly.
That's the meaning behind what he was saying. But continue.
We on Channel 10. We've been on Channel 10 already.
No. I mean for the general population, I feel like we're actually kind of muted now because of the pandemic. But I feel like, all right, so last year we had was it Sandra Bland? Yeah. I mean literally since like Trayvon Martin, like this has been I think the reason that we have so much exposure now is because the news and big media is trying to catch up to social media. We get our news 100 times faster than anybody else does through social media. We can tell you what happened before the news even fucking airs it. So they're trying to catch up to social media. So it's only us being like Black Twitter, we got a heavy influence on Instagram, we got a heavy influence on Facebook. What the things that we care about, and they see how many views these things are getting, they're only showing it because they know it attracts attention. But it's those things that we are putting out there, like this is our platform to put those things out there that they're just duplicating and putting back on the news. But I feel like the pandemic didn't help us. I feel like the pandemic hurt us in our message. I feel like we kind of slowed down with Black Lives Matter.
I disagree.
I
disagree, and I say one thing to that. The one thing to the analogy that MVP was referring to is like we have been on 10. We have consistently been on 10 because all of us here can name at least 5 people that died at the hand of the police, without a question. But there's a whole group in society that have the ability to flip around to other. It's like entitlement in general. They have the ability to flip around to other channels, right? So that when something happens, they're like, all right, cool. I'm gonna move away. I'm not, I'm skip over that channel, right? We didn't have it.
I'm go watch some sports.
Yeah, we were on 10, and that's why when Kaepernick decided to kneel at that point, it brought them to 10, and they got upset and they switched it back to 2. They're like, I'm not dealing with this, right? Every time that something happened, they were able to say, I'm gonna keep it on where I'm at. When that thing happened with George Floyd, everybody was like, oh, how could this be happening? Bro, if you were on 10, like we all were on 10, you would realize this is not a new thing. This is not something that just happened. So for me, I had a lot of people reach out to me because I think in my life, I am the big Black man that they know.
You are.
And they're like, yo, so how are you feeling? I'm like, yo, it's a Tuesday, baby. Like, what are you talking about? Like, this is nothing new to me, man. This is the same thing that we've been seeing over and over again, and we've just gotten to the point where you can't escape it. You're seeing what we see every time. You're seeing a man dying on TV because you can avoid it. Go ahead, Live. Go ahead.
I just want to rebuttal, and then I'll pass it on to somebody else. But the reason you still haven't proven my point about saying like the pandemic hasn't helped us. I don't see why Black Lives Matter is more prevalent now than it was before the pandemic, because that's all that was on the news before the pandemic is about how Black people were dying. You couldn't avoid it. Now we got other issues going on where it's like taken away from what just happened. I just watched somebody on the news who rushed into a Black woman's house. He was like parked on her garage, and she told him to leave, on her street, on her property. She told the police officer to leave, and he busted in her house. He smashed her teeth up. She got teeth missing out her mouth, broke her arm, and now she's missing. Like, we're not talking about these issues that's going on now because we're too concerned with the pandemic. We're too concerned with the election. We're too concerned with everything else going on. So now these issues are kind of subsided in my mind.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
I just want to say
Okay.
I agree with that point because I think what happened, and I said this to somebody before, is that after the George Floyd thing, everybody was Black Lives Matter out. They had the TV, they had the T-shirts, they had the signs, they had everything. They were putting it up on Instagram.
No.
But then as it slowed down, and I said that to somebody, I was like, I wonder if you're going to be so Black Lives Matter after Trump is gone. Because
Facts.
Black Lives Matter was up, and this is going back to what I said before, it was politicized in a way where it was the opposition to what was going on with Trump, which is like, you playing with my life, bro. I like my life. That's my life we're talking about, not something to say, okay, well, I'm against it. So that's what I'm thinking.
I think that I agree with you on that. I think that's something that we miss. Like, I've always looked at Black Lives Matter, no political association, no political affiliation, but as a statement. Like, that's just like me saying to you, my kids' lives matter. Like, I matter. So I never looked at it any other way. And for them to politicize it in any type of way, whether it be Democratic or Republican, was crazy to me. It never made sense. But with that being said, I will say this. We've had more traction in the last couple of, I guess, 2-3 years than we've had in a long time. I don't think that George Floyd was a wake-up moment. I think it was a fed-up moment. So that's where I differ with what you and MVP saying. As y'all saying, like, oh, y'all see George Floyd died and now everybody's on channel thing. I think we got tired of seeing the George Floyds of the world. We got tired of seeing the Trayvon Martins. And that's what led to all of these national protests and them changing the shit by the White House to Black Lives Matter Drive. Like, we were fed the fuck up. The news media was feeding it to us so much. I don't know what response they were looking for, but they were giving it to us so much over and over again on these 24-hour news cycles. Black man shot, this man killed, black woman killed, that it became to a point where it started coming to a head. And that's why I differ on that point.
The one thing I would say to that, and then I'm gonna shut up on the topic, is that it made it visible to white people. There were a lot more white people out there protesting than there were before. And that's what we mean about the Channel 10 and 2. Mm-hmm. Like when they decided, they saw that they can't escape it. And honestly, I feel like what happened in America is we have a very like, oh, we won the battle thing, so we're done, right? So they're like, well, there was a black president, so that means that racism is completely gone. And so they're not going to talk about it anymore, right? And then when you had this happen with George Floyd, they're like, oh, how you believe that, like, to quote Dave Chappelle, you believe they're killing black people out here like hotcakes? And they're like, yeah, that has been going on. And honestly, the way the system is, it will continue to go on until we start to challenge it. But that's it.
So the rebuttal what Lai was saying, the reason why I say the pandemic had a big influence is because, yeah, I think people were fed up, but now I got the time, though. And that's it. I don't think you need to say anything else. Pandemic gave people time. I ain't got shit else to do. I've been fed up. But some people will not do anything because, like, yo, I gotta go to work. I gotta take my kids here. I gotta do this. We got the time now. And pandemic is the only thing that I can say gave people time. And to go back off what K Styles is saying, it gave white people time too to be like, hold up. The ones that actually think it's fucked up, they're like, oh shit. Like, I know I've been seeing this, but like, no, we need to mobilize now with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the first time in my life that I've had white people hit me up. And the only thing that's changed in my life is the pandemic. So that's how I'm able to analyze it and be like, okay, pandemic, because this has been happening. People know. But this is the first time anybody who is not black has hit me up personally and said, Nick, are you all right? And I said my name because I want you to see how real it is. Like, yo, you good, bro? And I'm like, yo, this has been happening, like K Styles said, but I don't think they would have took that time. And no offense to anybody, but I mean, I'm just saying what it is. Like, I think the pandemic gave people that time. And then I'm seeing, I'm not gonna say these names, but I'm saying these streaming services posting Black Lives Matter. I've never seen that before.
Not just streaming services.
I've never seen that before.
Video games.
Let me jump in here, man. Let me jump in here.
Video games, Call of Duty. I was like, yo, everybody. And
Madden,
it was a blimp,
everything.
though.
Yeah.
It was a blimp. So I do agree with you. Live was saying, like, yeah, it has fallen off. Yeah. But at that peak moment, It was the pandemic, dog. You can't. What
Go
else
ahead,
was it? Give me
Scope.
something
My bad.
else.
No, wait, hold on, Scope. I'm 2 seconds and I'm done.
I think
Go on.
Okay, so listen. I respect what you're saying. I can't take nothing away from your personal life. And are you saying white people reached out to you personally? I can't take your personal opinion away from me. I'm saying, look at it like this: another black man killed in the street. My job is telling me they may be closing down. The government just gave me $1,200 that has ran out. They don't know when they're gonna give me. It's a multitude of issues that built up for for people to, because if you believe that the pandemic is real, you wouldn't have people going out there to march and being out in the street because they wouldn't want to be in contact with other people. You dig what I'm saying? Like, it would go against what you believe to be out there marching for Black Lives Matter, knowing that there's a pandemic going on. So I just think, like, I really think there was like this big a wave of people just being fed the fuck up of what was going on in the government. Just like how they were saying, oh, people out here looting. And everybody tried their best to explain this shit. And I was like, man, I wish I just had a news camera in front of me. I wish somebody would just ask me because I could tell you what the fuck is going on. That motherfucker that's looting just lost his job. He been out of work for 3 months because of the pandemic. They sent him $1,200, but he didn't get it because he didn't file taxes last year. Like, it's a whole bunch of shit going on. How could you be like, look at these people and say, oh, they looters, they this and that. Most of these motherfuckers don't have no way to make ends meet. You dig what I'm saying? So it's like a whole multitude of issues going on while people were mad at the government and what was going on. That's just my opinion, though. I could be wrong. You feel me?
Yeah.
I feel you.
So first of all, I gotta completely separate the Black Lives Matter from any political affiliation or anything to do with that. I think, if anything, Black Lives Matter, it started where? Social media, Twitter. Young lady started this hashtag on Twitter, and it evolved to something way bigger. But it also showed the world what happens when Black people weaponize our Blackness. Mm-hmm. And by a little quick segue, tomorrow we're getting our superpowers, so they're gonna be big mad. If you don't know about that, Black people are getting superpowers on the 21st. Anyway, So back to what I was saying with Black Lives Matter. If you look at it, when we're talking about traction from the beginning of the year to now, right? Black Lives Matter went viral. That's what happened. And it went viral while the whole world was watching. So that's a larger wave. You know what I'm saying? So when people combat me with this Black Lives Matter, first of all, some of them are salty because they're not feeling included, right? So it becomes Blue Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, anything for you not to get the shine, right? So I remember I got kicked out this party one time because I got an argument with this chick. We're going back and forth about it. And I was like, bro, I have a certain glow now. All my friends are feeling seen. Like, the swag is different right now because guess what? We're on front stage and now y'all want the mic back so quick. Like, we just started talking about this stuff and people are getting fatigued about it. They're getting tired. Oh, we're still talking about Black Lives Matter? Yeah, we just got on. We only been free like how we are right now for like 60 something years. There's people, grandparents that were slaves. It's not that far removed. We were just counted as livestock and sheep, and now we get to vote. We get to do regular shit. And what MVP said about the sign, right? Like, those idiots can't look at the sign that says no mask. You got to have a mask on, right? Let's look at some other signs. No colors, no niggers. You know what I'm saying? You can't sit here. You can't eat here. Refuse service to anybody. These are all like signs that we've been dealing with for a long time now. And now they try to decredit Black Lives Matter by bringing up people's criminal history. They associate people with the move that's not even like, say I got a traffic ticket or I did something bad in my life. And just because I'm Black and I'm young and I fit the demographic, well, oh, Black Lives Matter leader Sherwin did this, and that. And as far as the rioting, my G, Rodney King, think back to Rodney King. They videotaped this man getting his ass whooped in the 90s. You imagine what that camera looked like, bro? There was a news crew that was over there, happened to swing his camera and saw this shit. So how much stuff do we not see? The camera is the great equalizer now because you cannot run from it, you can't deny it. And while people think our culture is so fly and it goes viral, well, guess what? We got let me show you the parts that's ugly that go viral too. So that's why they don't want LeBron talking about it. They don't want our celebrities talking about it because we entertain them. And at the same time, when they switch the platform, like, oh yeah, Black Lives Matter and this is going on too, they're like, bruh. So that analogy you made with the channels is perfect, bro. I think you definitely like write that down somewhere so it could be quoted, man, because that's exactly what's going on. They don't like the NBA courts. They don't like seeing it on there. They don't like the NFL. They don't like nobody talking about it, being on these. And just quick story before I end it. in a high school game in Texas, there was this black school and this white school, and the black school was smacking them. And in the second half, all the calls went the other way. 16 penalties on one side, 2 on the other on second half. So that school filed a complaint with the NCAP, National Color Association people. Anyway, NAACP.
Yeah.
NAACP. So they're filing a suit right now against those referees. So just something I read in the news today is kind of interesting. Anyway, you guys have it.
So I wanted to transition a little bit because since we're already in this realm, I wanted to get some of the sad stuff out the way. I wanted to bring up some of the celebrities that passed away this year that we didn't expect. Like for example, Kobe Bryant,
Tiny Lester,
still hurt.
Kobe Bryant and his daughter, by the way.
Yeah, bro.
And the rest of the people on the helicopter.
We don't really talk about that, but there's a lot of people that died, and a lot of families impacted from that crash.
Yeah.
But Nipsey?
Yeah, Nipsey also.
Was this year too?
Was that this year?
The weirdest thing about 2020 is that it feels like it's been like 4 years in one year. So it's like it's hard.
I think Nipsey was last year, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm pretty sure that was last year.
It still hurts live. It still hurts.
Yeah,
hurt.
it
Pop
was
Smoke?
last year. Yeah.
Pop Smoke.
Pop Smoke was another one that was like really hard.
XX? Was this XX this year?
That was last year too.
Nah.
Chadwick was this year, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. It was last year.
I thought that was the beginning of this year.
And that might have been late last year.
I mean, I can.
That was last
fact check.
Yeah, let's fact check that.
Maybe we should have brought up a list for these people.
Should have.
Fact check.
He died in 2018.
Yeah, 20.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a while ago.
you know who died? Fred the Godson.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that,
Freddie Godson passed away this
That
year.
boy had bars.
Yeah.
He should have been big scared the first week that shit came out. He should be like, look, bro, I gotta get in the bubble. I'm taking all the boxes. Yeah, he's
King
hustling.
Von passed away.
King Von, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Who?
King Von.
Oh yeah, King Von.
Yeah.
I thought
He sounded like he just found out. I was like, what?
He
I was like,
dead.
you saw what Bootsy said about that?
no.
Bootsy said they moving a little too light over there in Atlanta. Like they played them a little weak down there, and if they was at home, they'd have been more protected. So they should probably look how they move a little bit better.
Well, I mean, he had a pending case. He couldn't have been caught with a weapon no way. So he was moving the way he needed to move. I just don't know about the dudes around him, what that situation, what led up to that situation. So a sad situation all around, man.
That's why I only go to day parties.
That doesn't mean anything.
At this point, it don't even
When's
matter.
the last time you heard somebody get shot at a day party?
You can shoot up day parties too, bro.
All day long. Alcohol,
Well, I heard
availability to guns. Well, first of all, we've been in a pandemic. So
only in Brooklyn do they shoot up day parties.
Yeah, niggas do shoot up day parties though. Definitely in New York.
first of all, have we heard of the Labor Day parade? They shoot up the night before, they shoot up the day of, they shoot up the day after just to round it all off.
Hold on, I think on the Labor Day party, you know what time you're supposed to be not be on the street no more.
Nah.
Like, after about 2 to 4, that's shooting hours, bro. I'm moving around.
Bro,
I'm back to the crib.
I'm here by the grace of God, because multiple times we out there, they said, "What you say?" And that's it. You already know, like, you got to find somewhere close. You got to find out. It's like it's a monopoly. But let's not. I mean, I feel like we're straying off topic. Let's
Yeah, but
Get us back in order, man.
Chadwick, Black Panther.
Oh man,
that was a shocker right there, man.
My heart.
Was.
Like, and for him to be going through what he was going through, but to still be strong and provide, like, entertainment and being inspirational, far as like the Black Panther thing was like a whole thing for our people. To know that he was going through all that while he was doing this is just crazy.
Better than me.
Another reation, like, people should stop like jumping to clown people on social media, because I remember when they were like clowning him about how skinny he was getting, and it was like joking. Nobody really knew what was going on with him, and it's just like, now that you look back on it, it's like, damn, like, why are people so quick to judge other people? You don't know what the fuck is going on with that person.
for real.
It's crazy.
Internet lynch mob, man. That's the new lynch mob.
Who else? Because I know we're missing a couple people. Like,
Oh, it's
People, yeah.
What's the judge name? The lady?
Ruth Bader
Chippy?
Ginsburg.
Who?
Yeah.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She was.
Oh, okay.
He was a real one too.
Yeah.
You said he?
She was a real
She.
Oh,
one.
I was gonna say he. I was like, that. You definitely got the wrong person.
What's the congressman that passed away? Was it Senator?
Yeah, you're talking about the dude who walked on. He walked.
Yeah, he was there for Selma, right? Was it Selma?
Oh yeah, we should know
We
his
should
name.
all know this,
Lewis.
man.
I'm
Yeah,
Lewis.
What was it though? What was the whole name though?
You said one part.
With first name
Senator
Bates.
Lewis. We should know this, man. This is sad.
We're gonna chop this out because this is just
Wow.
Yeah, this is sad.
We need a tattoo.
Hold on. I'm actually looking it up.
Louis Farrakhan.
Y'all are
Yeah, I don't know that one.
You don't know that? Oh man, we're out
Don
here.
Lewis. Don Lewis, bro. Y'all are killing me.
What's his name?
Don Lewis.
John Lewis. Yeah. This is the dude who marched with Martin Luther King, bro. Like, we should know this shit.
He was in that shit young too.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. I remember when that happened.
Chop.
Yeah.
We're gonna chop this
What
one. Look bad. We look
What
bad.
if, what
Did
if
y'all know
Malcolm?
Bernie Sanders was down there too?
Yeah.
It's
What if
crazy.
Malcolm had won instead of Martin? We'd be living a whole different kind of lifestyle right now.
I think he did kind of win. I see a lot of black people with guns talking about they gonna do what the fuck is
Talking
necessary.
about-
Hey, I'm gonna be honest
By
with you.
eating means.
Yeah, more black people
Why?
have adopted that form of thinking than like, yo, I'm turning the other cheek. We don't really follow MLK's like whole, especially this generation. That marching shit is over with.
But the
Yeah.
one thing I would say too is that I feel like history, which is not necessarily always written by us, has done a very good job of trying to celebrate the docile aspects
Of
of
course.
Martin Luther King.
Why
Because
wouldn't you?
he wasn't always that way, right? He was just saying, let's get along. He was trying to be a collaborative force. And so people tend to, like, we see everybody talk about him in light, but like there would have been no Martin if there was no Malcolm. Like there were a necessary force for them to exist at the same
You
time.
gotta go one back. You gotta go one back though to John Brown. He had it. He was a white dude. He's like, yeah, I want the slaves free today, like right now. And I'm busting my gun, huh?
That's a whole nother conversation.
Him and the other kid. What the kid? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call him kid. What's the guy? They did the movie on him. The black dude who started a revolution, but he started a little too early. It was just him and his
Slavery revolution?
huh?
Slavery. He was a slave.
Yeah, he was a slave, but he could only read the Bible. And then one day he started looking at the other pages. Like
Yeah,
they
why
told
don't we know these names? Like, we know Jay-Z, we know, but a motherfucker on this podcast can't say
Yeah.
this guy's name, and I'm drawing a blank. I know this motherfucker's name. I'm just drawing a blank right now.
I want to
out.
point out that you are calling us out about not knowing the names, but including yourself in it. So there's something respectable and disrespectful.
No, I do know this name. I swear to God, I can't remember the name of
did a movie-
because of y'all. It's y'all fault somehow.
Oh no, you have to go there.
MVP, can you help us with this name?
Oh, I'm out of here. I'm not I'm about to close my camera down. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I can't help. I need
Slave
this.
revolution, man.
All right, hold on.
fucking-
Let me see.
There we go. God
Oh,
damn.
that's what you were talking about this whole time?
Yeah, it was on the tip of my tongue.
Nat Turner.
Nat, damn it, I knew
Oh,
it.
I didn't realize that's what y'all were talking about.
Yeah,
Everybody knows that name, though. You should know that name, especially with the movie coming out and all that. Everybody should know.
Eric came out. Eric came out.
No, that's what I mean. The movie coming. I didn't mean like in the future. I meant coming out, like already being out. But now everybody should know that name.
He was number one, and then it was John Brown, then it was Marcus Garvey. But John Brown was definitely
John
number
Brown
two.
guy you keep telling me about.
Watch, I'm gonna send you the link. Ethan Hawke just did a show on him. He was
They
gangster.
always, I don't believe that. They always find one white person to say, "Oh, they helped us," and it's
Like
bullshit.
Eminem. You needed
you
bro.
can't-
Abolitionist.
First of all, let's not. I'm gonna keep stopping some of these conversations. Let's not start the Eminem conversation right now, please. That's a whole podcast in of itself.
Mike
Yeah,
Tyson
we
said,
need to have an Eminem episode.
you want to stop Mike Tyson? Mike Tyson said, so Eminem, how does it feel to be like like a nigga? Eminem was like, what? Like, you know, it's to be a nigga.
Yo, you know what? I love Mike Tyson's podcast because he says stuff to people that if somebody else would have said, they would have been like, nah, but it's Mike. It's like Iron Mike.
So
You don't want to
get the fuck up and walk out.
Yo,
Like,
he would beat you and then sit down like, all right, let's
get buttons in them, and they just sat there, yo. Like I was like, damn. Like in any other interview, they would have got up and walked out, bro.
Mm-hmm.
He talked to Joe Buttons.
Man, he was talking to them like they was children, yo.
He talked to me like that too, because nobody can help you, bro. If Mike
Nicki
decides,
Minaj do
You
that
gonna
too?
get on your ass before they come and get the security guards come and get you. Son.
But Mike will beat your ass and then
Did
sit
y'all
down.
hear that?
He will sit down. He would beat your ass and then sit down and continue the interview, and you would sit there bleeding
That
out your
nigga
face.
crazy.
when he called Boosie a faggot, I was like, whoa. Like,
Yeah. He put Boosie on the spot, bro.
Put him in.
I know he
place,
pressed him out, but he called him a faggot.
Yeah, he was like, do you like men? Are you gay? Like he was just talking to nigga crazy. I'm like, yo, what the fuck?
No, he said
Boosie
the word.
badass.
But the thing about it that was, if you watch that whole interview, he challenged. And the thing about it, Mike has a stereotype that he's not a smart dude. That dude is very emotionally intelligent. He's very emotionally intelligent. He understands a lot of stuff. And in his conversations, he's challenging a lot of the stereotypes about just like black men in general. And I think those conversations are good. Those are uncomfortable conversations.
Did y'all hear the story that Jadakiss told about Mike Tyson and Eve and how they were? So they were all out somewhere, I think at an award ceremony or something, and it's like 5 guys from like D Block or Rough Riders or whatever the fuck, and it's Eve and Mike Tyson and like one of his homeboys walk by and he's like, "Yo, Eve, what's up? I wanna fuck you," and he just tells her that like straight up. So Eve is like looking back, like, "All right, y'all gonna like say something to this nigga?" And Jadakiss was like, "Yo, nobody wanted to say shit to Mike Tyson. Nobody wanted to do anything. They was like, oh, Eve, maybe you should just fuck him, maybe." I was like, damn, yo.
Yeah,
he was like, yo, Mike, before they even got to say anything, Mike would have been on their ass. Everybody was scared of that motherfucker around the time, bro. That's just how it was.
And I think still are to a certain extent.
Right.
It shows. Joe Budden and them was like, they was looking like little kids sitting up there. I'm like, God damn.
But he's so nice, and it was so crazy. He's so
That's the fucked up part about it.
He's so nice, but now when he ever goes to a dark spot, he start crying. He's like, sometimes I just get so angry, and like
it's crazy, bro.
Yeah,
imagine sitting next to a fucking ticking time bomb. That's what I feel like they feel like. Like
they
start crying, then he start getting angry. Then this nigga telling he love you. Like, yeah, let's get the fuck out of here.
Honestly, I feel like, but the thing about it with him is that his reputation and who he was precedes him everywhere. So nobody thinks about the fact that he's a real person. Like, we've all been in the places where we're upset. We just not all been in the place where we can maul somebody and bite their hair off. So there's a difference that with that. I think that's why I think some of the conversations that he's having on this podcast are very good, because it's him even challenging some of the stuff that he said. When he was talking to Boosie, he's like, yeah, we're broken people. We're all broken people. And, we're all just punks trying to, I'm like, like he really, really broke it down. But
he did.
Let's transitioning back into our topics.
Yeah.
Well, my question is there, because I mean, I feel like a lot of dark stuff happened in 2020. Is there anything positive that happened? I'm trying to change the mood up a little bit.
Tiger King.
Okay, we that's fun.
I mean, I'm literally gonna try to input Tiger King as many times as I can to see if we change your opinion anywhere. But
PS5 happened.
Is that a thing though? I mean,
yeah, them niggas made a release regardless. They said, "Fuck a pandemic, nigga. We getting this shit out."
Still releasing this.
Still this shit out.
And it was sold out.
Leisure activewear had made a big wave this year. So motherfuckers gonna be dressed. Kanye was right. People are gonna be wearing sweatsuits in the future. And the sweatsuit sales and activewear has gone through the roof. I don't even know if we're gonna see motherfuckers dress up to go anywhere anymore. A lot of people, especially females, are wearing leggings and tights. Guys are just throwing on some sweats and some flip-flops if they can. And there's been a lot of chill clothing going on.
Socks?
It's Texas thing, Like Toby Negwegwe. That's the second time I got Toby in there. What up, Toby?
It's in the list.
If y'all know about Toby, I should really dig into him. He's securing some fire features, by the way.
Yeah, he's a good run right now.
Royce the 5'9" and Black Thought on the same song.
It's pretty big. Pretty big.
Joe Biden, right? His election.
Fuck out of here.
Okay.
I'm not excited at all, man. I'm very unimpressed and unenthused, but I'm glad we got rid of Trump. So that's a positive.
And that's the one thing I would say. I mean, I think that we were going down a road that if he,
I wanted 4 more years.
Oh, you may get it.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna get it worse now. You remember when you had.
Hey, you may get it regardless of what you want, Playboy.
You remember when your brother had chicken pox and then it's like, fuck it, put them together, you might as well both get it at the same time? That's what I was hoping for. Because when he comes back, oh my God, it's going to be like Terminator 2 coming back. What?
Coming back is a thing. Like, it's not a thing yet because he hasn't left. And that's why everybody was celebrating when the first election, like the weeks after that. I mean, people were ecstatic. They were on the streets honking and banging pots and stuff. And I'm like, we gotta do January 20th is the day when we should do a podcast on that day, January 20th. Because if he leaves the office, then we could talk. Then I would relax.
Now they're saying that he has selecting his own electors to go in and vote for him, regardless.
But they didn't. He put 3 on the Supreme Court, and they all voted not to do it.
They did. He went to the Supreme Court to try to fight the voter fraud case, and they lost that. But him selecting his electors is something I never heard of. But that's where we are now. Is like January 6th or some date that he threw out there that he's going to send these GOP electors to vote for him in those key states. So it's like I don't know what the fuck precedents we have to look at to say that's ever happened before, but that's what that's
different. It's not that it's not a precedent that it's not been set before. It's just like, oh, for instance, I'll give you this good example because I feel like we're really political heavy today.
Yeah, so I'm about to switch it up.
I went paintballing with the homies, right? Went paintballing. Mm-hmm. So they divided us both on teams. Half on this side, half on this side. So as I'm shooting the paintballs, I noticed that the spool can move. A spool, imagine a big spool of wire, right? They put it out there to deflect or whatever. So my ass, thinking I'm fucking Die Hard, I start rolling the spool and shooting. So the dude blew the whistle and said, "Bro," he's like, "Hey, sir, come here. You can't do that." I was like, "What you mean? The rules didn't say I can't do it." He's like, "I've never seen someone do that before in all the years this place has been open."
That's facts.
You're doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it, so let's just not do that. So when Trump, when he fires people and picks people so quick, or he starts pulling that pen out in executive order and stuff, or, letting his partners get out of jail just because off of pardons, not everybody does it.
My question is then what the fuck do we do going forward? Because this president has showed us that you could just operate and govern through loophole after loophole and push the line so far that do we want to continue to leave it like this where the next guy comes and this guy doesn't give a fuck? He wants to be the dictator and the fucking the one and only. Trump is there. Trump can do it if he wanted to do it at this point. But if he doesn't do it, do we leave it like that open?
No, you
Trump
don't.
showed us every fucking loophole.
But he said it before, and even him running as a Republican, that was the first thing. He said, look, if I was going to run, I would run as a Republican because they're more fractured, and it's an easier end to get in there. So he's been running this place since the beginning.
Yeah, facts.
So I digress. I don't want to get too deep on the Trump, but I'd rather take the 4 years now than the 4 years down the line, because when he comes back, it's going to be hell to pay because half the country voted for him. So half the people big mad right now. So all he needs is for a little bit of the Democrat people this time to feel like Biden didn't do a good job, plus his half that he already got. He gonna flip. Watch, I'm telling you.
Don't put that out in the universe, please.
It's gonna happen, bro. If half the country voted for you, just like your background, half red, half purple, half blue. All he needs is a little.
Hey, don't be coming for his background.
All he needs is a little bit of people from this side, bro, and it's a wrap. So
I want to assume that the next 4 years is not going to look anything like the last 4 years. So I don't necessarily, is it a possibility? 100%. I just don't want to even entertain that right now because we need him to leave first. He hasn't left yet. It's the 20th, and even though he's lost the electoral college, and we have not seen him leave. And everything he has done, everybody's just like your story with the thing that you were rolling. Everyone's like, can he really do that? Can he really stay in there after he lost the election? We don't know yet. We don't know yet. So until that time, I am reserving all excitement, judgment, thoughts. I am just holding very, very close to my feelings.
So what I wanted to go into something positive before end time. So versus battles. That happened.
That was something
that's a big thing.
Yeah, that came out of the pandemic. It was something they were
clap.
Yeah, there was something they were doing before.
Clap it up.
Look at that for verses, man.
There was something that they were kind of doing beforehand, like they had done a couple like battles of like producers, but nothing to this size and impact that it's had now. And honestly, with this pandemic, it could end up being a very premier like way of people doing, like shows and stuff like that, and revitalizing people's careers. I mean, if they do it right. I mean, I don't know, I don't know what they have planned, but it could.
That's a good point. Todd, dig deeper on that. I like that idea. Versus tours,
bro, they could do a lot. I mean, even if they do that and do like, so they're still doing it remotely where people could see it, like you're opening up your whole nother, base of people who may not have come out to, gone to a concert or something like that. And especially when we don't know what it's going to look like before we could pack a stadium again. You know what I'm saying? Like that could be another 2 years. So, this is it's open. It's one of the things that's come out of the pandemic that I think is going to be amazing to see as long as we get past the egos, because there's a lot of egos. What's that?
Drake and Lil Wayne did this before. They went on tour like that.
Oh,
Drake versus Lil Wayne.
Yeah,
they did.
That's the whole format. That's crazy. Because Drake was like, "I got this one," and then Lil Wayne was like, "Oh, I got this one." So they got jacked.
It was actually called the Drake versus Lil Wayne tour. Like that was
yeah. And it just escalated. Yeah. But one of the things that I really like about this versus thing is being able to see one DMX, because I ain't seen DMX like in a good light in a long time. But to see like people you've grown up listening to come together and just like, they're trying to do the whole celebration thing. Because I remember, I think it was the reggae joint. People were like getting dressed up for it. Like, bro, they were like real live. Like my friends was hitting me up like, "Yo, y'all tuning in?" Like, for the pandemic to be what it is, I feel like those versus joints that I actually wanted to be a part of kind of bonded me with my friends in a way where, in a situation where the pandemic has kind of split everybody up.
Yeah.
And like, we can talk about it and then reminisce. Cause I'm pretty sure everybody has songs they've heard where if you hear that song again, it takes you back to when you first heard it, or if something like interesting happened or bad happened when that song first came on. That was for me, the Snoop Dogg and DMX joint. Cause like, I remember the first album and the cover and like seeing the booty, and I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
Why does this poodle have a booty? Like, this is crazy. But I think the verses definitely brought people together. Like, might sound weird, but I always wanted to see Brandy and Monica go at it because of the Boys Mind joint, and that like our culture made that like a fake beef throughout their whole career. And then to see them coming together like that and be cool, like Erykah Badu and Jill Scott.
Yeah, it was a lot of
like, come on, man. I just the community and the like coming together, dog, I think was very important during this year.
Yeah, I agree. I looked at a lot of those and I enjoyed a lot of those. Even like the craziest one to me was the Jeezy and Gucci thing. Which MVP, I heard your comments on Gucci on your other podcast, and I don't appreciate it, but we could talk about that into that when we're not having a positive moment.
Okay,
how was the vibe in Atlanta live with that? How's the vibe in the streets?
Man, motherfuckers loved it, man. You can just from being with, like my girl is from Atlanta, her family's from Atlanta, and just knowing people out here, man. Everybody, it was like watching the Super Bowl in Atlanta again. It was lit. You can even look like 21 Savage had posted, they was watching it, like the whole, Zone 6, like them niggas, they representing their zone, and it was a big thing. I think there was a lot of positivity that came from it. You know what I'm saying? And that was one of the biggest verses they had thus far. You know what I'm saying? Because they beef was an unresolved like street issue. You know, somebody died behind that. You know what I'm saying?
Real shit.
And they look at Gucci. I hear people look at Gucci and say, "Oh, he this, he a bully, or he this." Y'all don't understand. This man was in a situation where his life was at risk, so he got a right to feel any type of way about, you know what I'm saying, the situation. Like, and he could have died in that situation.
And I want to say it shows to him and his maturity as a person too. Because I gotta say, if somebody, you know, not to go into the whole thing, but if what had happened between me and somebody else went that far, I don't think I'd have been able to be in a room with him. Like, you know,
him. I mean, he's one of my friends. I didn't know my friend was going to do that.
No, well, that's not what the story I heard.
Allegedly.
It's a social.
Right, so one of his closest mans comes and tries to kill you. And now you have to defend yourself, right? And you wind up killing him. And then you wind up doing time behind that shit. Like, he had to go to jail for that, my nigga. Like, this was a life-changing thing.
3 people. I thought he killed, he went to the girl's house.
2 guys. One of them died, though. It was 2 guys. I don't know if he shot both of them. I don't remember the story. I got to look it up. But I know it was 2 guys that came at him. One of them, he clipped, and they up out of here. Like he said, you know, dig your homeboy up, all this crazy shit. But I'm not mad at Gucci for feeling how he feels, bro. That's a fucked up situation.
At all. And even though
I still think Jeezy won, though. I like Jeezy's growth. I like his maturity. I think Jeezy had banger after banger after banger. But here in Atlanta, I don't know. I think Guwap got it because
I was all Guwap, bro. I mean, how?
First of all, that's Gucci's clone. That's the first thing.
Okay, we're not gonna do this again.
That's a Gucci
on this road. We're not going on this road.
There's a difference between a good song and a banger.
Yeah, Jeezy had bangers. Jeezy had bangers. Jeezy had bangers. I mean, worldwide bangers. Now, Gucci had shit that Atlanta niggas know. Like, Atlanta niggas know like the back of their hand.
I think you underrepresent Gucci. Now, in a square to square thing, I can understand that, because I remember when Jeezy came out, and Jeezy got love in the North in a way that Atlanta rappers did not get at the
Snowman.
And like, I remember speaking about
my favorite artists growing up and from New York. You know what I mean? Like, being from New York and listening to a Southern artist, Jeezy was it for me.
But remembering a Labor Day parade thing where there was a bunch of Snowman T-shirts on the Parkway, and I remember I was like, "Yo, what is happening? Like, this never happened." So we can't. Yeah, I think me and you were together that one. And I don't, you know, you can't discredit that, and can't discredit what it meant for you to break through like that. I just think that for me, I don't remember who put me onto Gucci. But like, ever since I put so many people on the Gucci, because they're like, "Oh, Gucci man is this." I'm like, "Yo, this man, music is actually freaking fire, bro. It's actually fire, bro."
Gucci had broke through with that very freaking girl. We was running around New York at that time.
Yeah.
With, Lil Kim remix. That shit was hard. But for me, the versus battles have brought up 2 things. I'm just keep it to 2. 2 things is BMCC, my community college. These are all people had at lunch tables. You would name a song, they'd name a song. What about this? Well, what about that? And a back and forth. And also, it's a great equalizer in the music for these people who keep calling people's names like y'all on the same level, but your catalog ain't the same.
Yeah.
Y'all 2 different leagues.
I think I've seen that with, and not no disrespect to 2 Chainz and what he's brought to the table, but there was just a huge disparity. Like, it just wasn't no competition in my mind.
2 Chainz to who?
With Rick Ross. I just think as far as catalog goes, not as far as hits maybe, but as far as catalog and like amount of hits, Rick Ross was just amazing,
he'd have a better chance going against Luda than going against 2 Chainz.
I didn't understand that.
Even the Luda one, I think would be hard, because I think
Rick Ross has just invented himself so many times, bro. Like,
Rick Ross
will go again.
Huh?
Who you asking me?
For Rick Ross or anybody who cut for Rick Ross then?
It would have to be. He got to play with one of the greats, bro. We can't. It had to be a Wayne or somebody, bro. Because you're talking about Lex Luger era. I'm on a cell phone. I'm selling dope. Then you talking about Maybach musics. Then you talking about fucking, like, this nigga could do it so many different ways, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tip. I'll give it to Tip. That's a good one. Yeah.
Who else?
And they
I
were
mean,
supposed to go at it way back in the day when Tip was calling himself the King of the South.
I agree. I think Tip would be a good one. Tip got hits too.
yeah.
It's a hard one, bro.
It would have to be somebody at Tip caliber, Wayne caliber, maybe not like a Jay or Nas, but it have to be somebody in that caliber because the nigga Rick Ross just got too many, bro. Like,
I feel sorry for
Aston
whoever.
Martin music, Maybach, like he just been every era he got something that you could say, okay, that shit was bumping. Like,
I feel bad for whoever called out Kanye because it's gonna be a long night.
that has to be Kanye and Drake. It couldn't be nobody else.
Here's the problem. Anybody of that level, and this is the thing with Versus that I think sucks, is that it has been kind of branded for like artists that are
They're
not
artists.
popping, right? I mean, I don't want to say it like that, but you know, it's like the love and hip hop of artists, bro. Like, you
It
know,
really is, bro.
Ooh.
that's what
It's the resurrection. My bad, Kyle.
It's not. I'm just saying. When you ever go to a show for somebody and they sing some new bullshit, like, no, that's not what we come for. Okay, sing "What's Love Got to Do with It" so I could leave. What's love got to? I don't want to hear what you wrote in the studio last night. I don't want to hear none of your new shit.
That's the problem with these hip hop fans nowadays. We don't give these people a chance.
We don't want it.
No.
We don't want it, bro. We want the hits, bro. When we go to the show, I want to hear what on the radio.
Listen, Kyle said it perfectly, and I didn't mean to cut you off, Kyle. You said it perfectly. Versus is a place for artists that are trying to kind of revive what they once had.
And the thing is, at the end of the day, they're not unless they could get past that stigma, it's gonna stunt it, bro. Because if you could get like if you imagine if they were able to organize a Kanye and Drake versus, bro, it would break Apple TV. It would break Instagram.
But my issue is hold on real quick, live. My issue is I don't think like we hear them all the time. Like we hear Drake, we hear Kanye. Like I think they're marketing to the niche of like you don't like the radio isn't playing these people like that.
I don't think
that's what I'm here for. I'm here for because like if I listen on the radio, if we wanted to do, we do like Lil Uzi Vert and somebody like that. But I'm not really trying to hear Jay-Z either because I hear Jay-Z a lot. Like I'm trying to hear people that you don't normally hear as often anymore. Like DMX and Snoop Dogg is a great example of that.
But if Jay-Z go to his B-side, it's still gonna hit, but it's gonna hit with a different crowd.
The one thing I would say to that is this platform has the ability to put a boxing like viewpoint to music, right? And now rap has always been competitive, but if you do that where it's like, okay, well, these are the heavy hitters, blah blah blah, and you don't care about losing. A lot of these people care about losing, but if you think about it, Gucci losing in people's mind didn't mean that Gucci lost. His streaming still went up. He made a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody, the problem is that people don't want to take a loss. But I think that from the culture aspect, it's a good look, and we need to get over that. Go ahead,
It's easy to take a loss mismatch though. That would be an embarrassing loss.
I feel like their best time to be able to transition from what you were saying, Kyle, from like a revival for older artists or artists who aren't like is out there anymore was after Gucci versus Jeezy. And I feel like they missed that opportunity because these are artists that are still kind of relevant. And that was their opportunity to transition. And maybe we had to wait for the next one, but they dropped what did they drop on us? 240 and
Too Short.
Homeboy. Yeah.
Well, that happened because Keisha Cole and was it Keisha? And Ashanti got that vid.
Yeah, Ashanti had to back out.
But I think at the end of the day is how can they pull that off, right? Because if you go to a Drake, we just say Drake because like he's one of the biggest in the game. But if you go to Drake and Kanye, which these people are gonna want to see numbers. How much money are they paying these artists?
Nothing.
Exactly. So they're not gonna come out there and do it for free because what it's doing is building that thing. But what I think what artists are missing is that if they went in and say, "Yo, let's partner with this," and they say, "Okay, they can create a whole new Live Nation style thing where they're doing their own shows."
Well, Apple TV on them with them. Apple TV.
They could cut out Apple TV.
It would have to be a tour situation. It would have to be a tour situation where they give the money to the artist on that tour and they get the money from the views or the kickback from the views because they're not going to be able to generate that much money to pay a Drake or a Jay-Z they're not gonna. It's not enough money in it for them to do that at this point.
Yeah, I definitely think too they need to do right now their target audience is people in our age group. They need to do something younger. They need to do one with a younger group, which is going to be because that's the only way it's going to kind of bridge that gap and make it bigger to me.
I think it's going to take for one of these artists, like maybe a 21 Savage who obviously watched it and liked it. You know, Lil Baby, like it's going to take for one of these artists to come out and say, hey, I'll do it. I don't even need a lot of money to do it, to bridge that connection to like more popular artists or artists who are relevant now.
But you need 20 songs. You need 20 bangers. That's the thing. Like, it's like the Hall of Fame almost. It's like, bro, you have
necessarily if it's a new artist.
Even if we're going to lower it to 10, then we just listen to your album. I mean, that's what the verses mean to me. Like, that's why they're not inviting just anybody. Like, do you have 20 joints?
Not a lot of catalog. Like,
some of the people, you telling me Ashanti has 20 joints?
But she got at least what? Okay, so I'll tell you what, 20 joints, but like banger, we'll count banger like 2 or 3 joints.
No disrespect to Irv, because Irv is literally one of the producers I look up to. But does Ashanti have 20 joints?
How many she got? At least 5.
Does Ashanti have 20 joints? That's all I'm asking.
No, that's 5. Every banger was worth 2.
We see what happens. I mean, when the artists really don't have shit that like hits with everybody, they start to stall out around like maybe 10, 11. You know what I'm saying?
And that's how I felt Gucci was getting towards the end. I felt he stalled out.
Yeah.
First of all, Gucci went into that shit like it was a boxing match. He's like, I'm gonna pay all my diss records up front. He was like,
get out the way.
Honestly, once again, that's what I would have done if I got diss records for you out, bro. I was like, yo, and I think that's what made, honestly, let's be real. The reason that was the biggest one is because the way it was set up, everybody wanted to see what's going to pop off. People were like, yo, you think someone's going to die? I'm like, no, this is all for show. They would not have agreed to be in the same room, especially knowing all the people that they know in Atlanta. It wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't.
I like energy when he came in. I like to
Gucci came in.
Yo, but definitely Versus is definitely a great platform, I think, that came out of this pandemic. They got gold on their hands with that. I think the boxing shit that just came out with Mike Tyson and Ray Jones, they're turning that into like a ongoing thing. Like, I like the way they mix the concert shit with the boxing at the same time. And, you know, most of the time people aren't really, like, we're not watching boxing like we used to, because there was like a lot of big names at the time that me growing up watching Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, this person, that person. We don't have that anymore. So I think they got a great platform, and I think if they continue to do it, it'll be lit.
I'm only watching that if they got Snoop as a commentator, bro. Because Snoop murdered that. That's literally they need to.
Everybody said the same shit too.
Bro.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And then when Young Boy got knocked out, they're like, "Oh, Snoop, we need to do a couple extra records," because there was that whole point where he was performing. They did not plan that. You cannot tell me they planned that. They planned maybe 3 songs.
Good point.
Man did a whole set because that boy got knocked out in the second round.
You know, Logan Paul took the next fight off the platform. Him and Mayweather took it off the platform. It's not on.
Really?
Yeah.
So they're probably getting money. They're probably getting money. They're probably getting more money on another platform. But that's fucked up.
Yeah, that's
Mayweather's gonna make 10 and like 50% of the gate, and then the other kid's gonna make like, I think either 100 or 150,000 or like between 150,000 and 2 million and like 10% of the gate.
Wow. That's crazy.
If I don't think numbers like they would have did with Tyson, Triller should have dropped whatever the fuck they're doing trying to be TikTok, and I would have went full balls deep into boxing and combat sports, because even the ring looked dope, the screens looked the sponsor.
So how did they lose? How did they lose the deal with Logan Paul and Floyd?
Well, the thing is, Logan is the Drake of YouTube. Like, this dude, he's his own stratosphere.
They needed a bigger platform.
Yeah, well, he was going to look for a way to cut him out regardless. Like, he already seen the play.
More money. That's all that's about. Just more money.
Yeah, for sure. And then, you know, you have to make it enough for Mayweather to come out.
Right.
Mayweather comes wipe you out for 10.
Yeah.
Million.
Exhibition
fight.
Million.
Let's just clear on that, because Floyd don't want nothing under $8 million. Like, it's crazy.
Light work, bro. He not even going to train for that fight.
Man.
Listen, I need to see Floyd do something because after the last fight I saw Floyd and I was like, all right, thanks, bro. You did
I
what
want
you
to see Mike Tyson again. I want to see Mike Tyson again. I would
He's
like
going to.
Yeah,
Did you watch the end? Did you watch the end of it? End of that? See, I think I was the only idiot that paid for that fight, but I'm happy that I did because
for it.
I paid for it because I was like, one, I'm not going to a bar. First of all, I called like 4 bars and I was in Miami. I called like 4 bars and they were like Tyson fight, and I'm like, what? This is the biggest thing happening tonight. What else is going on? Like other than the COVID rates, nothing else is going up right now. So and so I bought it at home, and so I got to see a lot of that. And Roy Jones was like, yeah, I got to talk to my people to see if I'm a fight. And Mike is like, no, I'm gonna fight again. Mike, oh, you gonna fight again? And I'm like, yo, Mike ready for smoke right now. He was ready to go right then. He could like, yo, you want to go another round? I think they're gonna make it longer though. I think the rounds are too short because he said that. He's like, yeah, you know, the rounds, by the time you get used to the person's style, the round's over.
They was too short for Mike Tyson, but they was way too long for Roy Jones when they got
for sure.
He didn't train well enough for that, bro.
Roy not coming back. He ain't coming back.
Nah, that's over with. That's over with. I think they told Mike like, yo, don't. You know what I mean? We just doing this for charity, bro. Don't knock the motherfucker out. Like,
well,
you know what I mean?
He said something interesting. He's like, Mike said everybody knows me for like 2-3 rounds of knocking somebody out. I wanted to show that I could go the whole thing, and I think that's what his goal was. Like, yo, he's trying to transition himself into being
impressive, though.
Yeah, for real. And you saw glimpses of like the old Mike, and he's like, the bell went off, and he's like, threw one more punch, and I'm like, yeah, man, this dude was not. He's built for this, man.
Yeah,
well, Roy said he knew when the left jab coming, the uppercut was coming right behind it. So anytime he threw it, he was already moving around. And then by the end of the third or fourth, he started figuring out, all right, these punches hurt, but they don't hurt that much. Let me start loosening up a little bit. So Roy started getting loose, like 50,
I didn't see the same thing you seen. I guess we wasn't watching the same thing.
I watched that man dancing around that thing like Chris Brown.
Yeah.
No,
5 minutes in.
he clinched them and moved when Mike was starting to get with the uppercuts. But if you notice, when he started loosening up, he was too slow. He was still slow, Roy Jones. But he started loosening up like, all right, I'm out here now. But at the end of the fight, he was like, nah, I don't want no more of that. I'm good.
I could tell. I mean, I heard him breathing over like the people, like he was breathing loud as hell, bro. Like from round 1, he was winded, bro. Like he didn't train hard enough. You could tell he didn't train hard enough.
But we can talk about this all day. So let's go.
So yo,
are we live? Maybe whoever.
Yeah.
So wrap it up.
I wanted to wrap it up on this one last topic. Because I think this.
I'm not wrapping shit up with no niggas on no goddamn nothing, bro.
Moving right along.
We're just in this segment with the last topic. Because I think this is like at the end of the year type of thing. I wanted to talk about the platform that K Styles stumbled upon. And how I think that's going to be beneficial in the long run. Do you know what I'm talking about, K Styles?
Yo, plus for Kyle for finding that too, by the way, man.
Hey, I can't even. Yo, honestly, this is one of the things of just being on different things and having the right people in your circle. So, one of the conferences I went to, this guy was talking about it, and I'm like, yo, what is this? Found out about it, got in, and I've learned so much about it. We're talking about Clubhouse, by the way, which I think is going to be a very interesting aspect when you as far as social media. I've been no shade to like Instagram, but I've been waiting for something that would kill Instagram. And I think Clubhouse could potentially be that if it's done right. Because Instagram has had a hold for a long time, and as a content creator, it's one of the most frustrating places to put up content. But Clubhouse is great, man. I mean, there are a lot of people that are telling you, like, you could go in that place and find so many different information about whatever. Like I've been in there that, there was one talking about like how to join the recording association so you could be a part of like the Grammys and that whole bidding process. It's like there's a lot of things I've learned from just listening, and it's very cool because you could just go in there, network with people. I've literally watched somebody go in there. It's like, hey, I have an XYZ business and I'm trying to figure out how to start it, and left that thing with 4 investors while listening to it. So it's one of the things I think that's going to be a very interesting platform in the next, the ones to look for in the next. And I'm late. I mean, this thing has been going around since late last year. So it's crazy.
My only issue is that it's only on iPhone.
Yeah, but
and this goes to my Apple and like hating and loving Apple at the same damn time. Because they got great products and great things, but like they're so like they discriminate.
Exclusive.
Like, they don't fuck with nobody. They don't like be compatible with nobody. But the Clubhouse thing does make me want to like provide myself an iPhone of some sort or Apple device so I can get up on there. I'm not gonna lie, because I think like especially K Styles just sent me something that it's gonna help the content that we're creating, and I'm like being able. I think people will have a little bit more comfortability too because it's just audio at this point, right?
Correct.
So, saying like they can form these communities and really trade secrets and stuff like that. And I think that's dope. I just think that's dope, man.
It's under leveraged right now because it's still so small. So like you could get in, like I was in a room with literally majority of Rockefeller staff, like it was like that real. And they were talking about stories that happened at Rockefeller. So it's super early, and I like to be early to things. So like, when Instagram came, I was kind of late to that, Facebook late to that, but like a lot of other stuff would try to be super early. And this is one of the things that if you could get into that thing, which is why I keep annoying everybody on this chat and nobody has signed in.
It's hard as fuck in there, which brings me to my exclusivity. It's about time some exclusivity has been brought back to the social media. I remember Facebook when it did come out over 13 years ago. You had to be in college.
I had to be in college.
We were in school when that happened, and I couldn't get in because I did not remember my BMCC email.
No EDU, you can't come through.
No EDU. I couldn't wait to go to college just so I could get on Facebook. I know that sounds bad.
It sounds really bad.
But I was like, yo, I'm going so I can get in Facebook.
So my question is, how long before Instagram steals the sauce and we got
that's
we know what's gonna happen, yo. Like there's only a matter of time.
I think right now we're kind of lucky because I think that this is relatively new idea because the audio chat only thing is something that I think only really is working too because of the pandemic, because a lot of people don't have the same restrictions of traveling around and moving around like that. So they're on this platform. So this is, we'll see when things go back to normal. Do people still do this, or is this what the future of like a conference is going to look like? Because I'm signing up for a podcast conference in January, and it's like this literally have it where like people are coming on stage, and it's a conference platform without having to go to a conference. So, I don't know. We'll have to see. I think it's still early to tell. I just don't know how Facebook would. Facebook. I don't know how they would implement that. But like everything else the Zuck has done, he finds a way.
Guarantee. Instagram is working on that shit right now as we speak.
So as much times as we go super high tech, every once in a while we go like lo-fi and take a step back. Like I don't know if you guys remember when we were crossing over to our cell phones having really cameras and all that shit. For some reason, texting got super popular, and people were like, they didn't want to talk on their phones anymore. Because you remember when we had Razr, the Motorola Razr?
Oh,
Sidekick used to be wiping the floor with the
Sidekick was my shit. Yo, I was like,
I just looked that up the other day trying to see if they was like trying to reinvent or re-come up, re-release one.
I want that joint, man.
Sidekick's still out.
That swivel, man, made me feel so cool.
Yeah, but what about that technology that sometimes makes us want to detach and go back lo-fi? Like, yeah, we could FaceTime every single conversation, but people are not text.
It was the same thing to me that happened with like MySpace. Like MySpace had all of the same type of format as like Facebook or like some of Instagram. But I think when people to me, Facebook was a little bit less techier than MySpace was. I think you could like design your background and put all type of fucking, different shit and radio stations on there and all type of stuff. Where like Facebook just got to the point. So I think after a while, people just like I think Instagram right now is getting too convoluted. You got stories, then you got Facebook. Instagram TV, then you got this and that. It's like it's just a lot going on. When they get to that point, people start to find other things to just get to their.
Well, that's why people join Twitter so much right now. But their Twitter's starting to look like Instagram. So people are like, what are we doing?
Well, it's funny. It's funny because I feel like at the end of the day, it's just like cyclical nature when it comes to interest, because people see, like, oh, well, this new thing, either the kids catch on to it and then it becomes a thing eventually, or it just kind of fades away. So what like Instagram has done is literally everything that's popped is like they assimilated. So if Snapchat had all this stuff, they wanted to buy Snapchat, they said no. So they started copying all the stuff in Snapchat. Why do I have stories on my WhatsApp? Because Facebook is like, I'm gonna put everything that everybody else has. So this we could do a whole long conversation about the tech shit, but I just hope for the sake of like Clubhouse that they don't try to do that anytime soon.
Before we end it, Kyle, I'm gonna ask this question just for Kyle. Everybody relax.
Are you gonna actually call me K Styles for once this whole time, or no?
Well, it is gonna be this epic question.
Okay,
call him K Styles.
No,
when you said techie, it took me out of character for a second. All right, question for K Styles. What's next?
Bro, I don't know, man. I feel like the audio drop-in thing. I'm not. Don't get it twisted. Like I'm up on the pulse of things. I'm not a techie like that. You know, it's my job. I do it. But that's not. I'm not on the pulse of the zeitgeist when it comes to tech. But I do think that stuff like that allows you to do networking remotely is going to be a big thing. That's why like Clubhouse is a big deal, because like there were people that go to networking events every day before the pandemic. There were people that are actually making the contacts that were necessary. So I can see more stuff like Clubhouse happening. I just want Instagram to go away. I know it sounds bad, but it's like Instagram is the worst place for a content creator. But it's where everybody is, so you need to be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna cut that clip up and put it on Instagram. But it's the truth. It's literally the hardest place to be as a content creator.
MVP, what say you? What do you think is gonna be the next big thing? And we can make it hot. We can make it a hot take just in case it comes true. You be like, I said it.
I think the next big thing is going to be Win Now Network.
Oh shit!
Ooh, damn, alley-oop.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Ballin'. But yeah, I really like, dog, the amount of like scalability that the platform has, I think is what is going to really take over. And the people that's behind the network, us. Spoiler alert. I think everybody has their different skills and assets to bring to the table, and that is what excites me.
Okay. Live.
I feel like I gotta take my answer back. Jesus Christ, that was
Fucked up, Kyle.
yeah. That's apparently. I don't know who this wild person is speaking of, though.
Nah. Besides We In Now Network, right? Because I'm just fucking Nick. You can't follow that up with anything else, nigga. I have no clue. To be honest with you, I'm just not the person for it. Like I like technology when it's at its simplest form. Like when it doesn't intrude into your life too much, and it's like just it becomes a part of your life. Like I like Instagram, right? I'm not like Kyle. Like I want Instagram to go away. I get a lot of, news from there. There's a lot of other things I do in it I don't want to talk about, but I like Instagram for that. But I don't like something I have to check every 5 minutes, bro. Like.
Yeah.
I don't like intrusive technology where it's like this becomes,
You're part of your life.
Exactly. Now, if it seamlessly fits into my life, I have no problem with that. But when it becomes the things that you're looking at your phone every 5 minutes, I don't like it.
Okay, so in my theory of going lo-fi, I believe that after the pandemic, people are going to be doing a lot more socializing and less time on their phones. So, like, I think an app that's directing people to doing live and social things in person, cell phone free environments, I think that's going to be the wave. Like I could see restaurants saying, hey, phones in the basket coming up. I could see like just things that buck the norm. Like for instance, I went to a party that was a nightclub rave, but with no alcohol, everything was healthy. You feel what I'm saying? Wow. Same party atmosphere, like it's the club, nigga. We at the club, but no alcohol, but they got juices and different bars, and they're doing yoga. You start with yoga first, an hour of yoga, then the DJ comes and it turns into a fucking rave at 6 o'clock in the morning. You come home by 7:30, shower, go to work. That's people's new workout. Imagine turning up and then going to work.
That's crazy.
Can you imagine that though? Like, you got up like at 4:30, 4 o'clock, you did yoga for an hour, then you was in the club jamming, drinking healthy shit, turned up, and now you're going to work. You feel like $1,000,000.
Yeah, you probably go to work really hype. They'd be like, "Why is your smile from ear to ear?"
Your energy is ridiculous at 9 o'clock.
Like you were too hype at 9 o'clock in the morning.
They'll hit you with the Dragon Ball Z. Your energy's at 10,000.
Yeah,
Well,
for sure. That's crazy.
Where I want to live in.
yeah. All right, so wrap it up, Scup.
Wrap it up.
To wrap it up, 2020 was trash. 2021 is going to be way better or way worse.
No, don't stop.
Tune in and find out.
We're not even gonna joke about that, bro. I'm tired.
Appreciate everybody for being on this podcast tonight, spending your day with us, a couple of minutes out your work day or whatever. And we in Now Network, we got some major things coming up, some top secret things coming up. And peace. I don't have a going out sign, but I'm gonna come with one. And we in crowd, we in now, you already know how it go.